secretary. All right.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Dobbs Elementary Go team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it was emailed to you and posted on the website. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll. Ms. Antunes.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so Ms. Tiffany Reagan,
Present.
Mrs. Alexis Ofadile, Ms. Shan Hines. No, and then I'm here. Miss Brianna Spence,
Here.
Miss Tina Quinn, Miss Bernadine Connor,
I'm here.
Jen James, and Miss Kristen Reed.
Here.
So it'll be okay. Let me see. It's how. Okay. I do have a question. Do we have a quorum since I only counted 4 people present?
Yes. So with that email switch up, I had not sent you the 2 people. We had 2 people to resign. So our numbers, we have a total of 7 members now. And with 4 members present, we should have a quorum with that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and take a look at that. I couldn't open it when the Word document when you sent it over.
Okay. So there is a quorum present. And with that, we will move forward with our action items. Sorry. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to approve the agenda? And are there any changes? Yes.
We have one change where we have the information item 2, because we and as you all know, and if you don't know, for our public guests, we had to reschedule our previous meeting. So we have an agenda that was previously prepared because we had not gotten a chance to present it due to snow days and one other area that we had to reschedule. Nonetheless, we did not have our budget piece on there. So I want to make sure to put the budget piece that I on at number 40. And so I can add that piece in there because it is budget season, and we have our active budget allocation meeting presentation. So that's what I'll be doing today. So we'll add that.
We also need to add that we have to reschedule our February 6th meeting.
Actually inside of my slides.
Very good. And we have to vote in a new member for our staff.
It's not in there.
So if we could add to our action items, Ms. Antunes, that we have to vote in a new staff member.
Okay. Well, it's on you, Ms. Smith.
Okie dokie. So may I have a motion to approve the agenda with the additions?
I move to approve the agenda with the additions.
May I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you. So all in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so that Ms. Antunes can count us.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so I really can't see where.
So it looks like Kristen Reed raised her hand, I've raised my hand, and Bernadine Connor.
Okay.
All opposed? I don't think there's anyone left. So, the agenda has been approved. Next, we will approve our meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was in November. Are there any corrections? Did anyone see any corrections that needed to be made? If not, may I have a motion to approve the last meeting's minutes?
It looks like, Krista has her hand raised.
I think that was from voting.
Okay.
Move that we approve the last, the meeting minutes for November.
May I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor of approving last month's or November's meeting minutes, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, looks like that was also approved. Next, Ms. Reagan, I'm gonna hand it over to you to approve or to give us our new staff member recommendation.
Okay. So I recommend, since we had some resigning members, I wanted to recommend Miss Larissa Black to replace our staff member. Ms. Black is a part of our special ed staff. And Ms. Black has stepped up and wanted to do other things in leadership and throughout the school. And I think her willingness and her knowledge would be beneficial to the team.
Awesome. Welcome, Ms. Black. For as far as the team, now we have to vote in Ms. Black. So may I have a motion to vote Ms. Black in as our new staff team member?
I move that we approve, Miss Larissa Black as a member of
I'm sorry, you
our
all.
GO team.
Larissa, I gotta say it. Larissa.
Oh, okay, Larissa. Okay, I'm sorry. Larissa Black as a GO team member.
I second the motion to vote for Miss Larissa.
Okay. All in favor of voting in Ms. Larissa Black as our new staff GO team member, please raise your hand or say aye. You got it, Ms. Antunes?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. All opposed, please raise your hand or say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, with that, welcome Ms. Larissa Black as our new member of our GO team.
Thank you. I'm excited to be a part.
Okay, now we will. Our next action item is to review and update the strategic plan. Have we done that already, Ms.?
That's not on my agenda, because we did that at the beginning. We must have-
Okay. Okay, it's just on the budget allocation script. And so I want to make sure that we did that. We said it, we did it.
all the things.
Okay, awesome. And we ranked the strategic priorities. Very good. Moving forward to our discussion items.
Okay, so I'm going to, because I received the template I wanted to make sure we have our budget thing. And so I know on our agenda, it has the data first, but I'm actually doing the budget stuff first and the data last. It's in the opposite order, if that's okay. All right, so welcome again, everybody. Let me share my screen. And so just while I begin to do that, I just want to make you all aware that today's allocation meeting is an information meeting. We have a series of 3 meetings, and I'll probably repeat this in some of the slides. Can you all see it? Okay. So I'll probably repeat it in some of the slides, but today is just informational. I'm still working with the district, my supervisor, HR, all of the people in the district office to solidify. So we are still making decisions. No things have been decided, but this is just simply information, but I'll go ahead and get started. Today is January 30th. All right, so here's our agenda. We've already discussed this part, just the agenda we already have. So just to let you all know the process of the budget process, initially we updated our strategic plan and ranked our priorities, what Ms. Spence was referring to. We had a workshop as principals on January 15th regarding the FY26 budget, which is next school year's budget, not this year. I know I've been talking to a lot of staff members and they are thinking it's like immediately. And I said, oh, and I had to explain that we start next year's budget in the previous year, but it's for the next school year. So we are at step 3, where we have to have an allocation meeting between the dates of January 15th and the 31st. Okay. And so then you will go, of course, up the step, and we'll have 2 more meetings, which is what Ms. Spence was also referring to, which I'll probably repeat a couple of times, is that we have to reschedule because we have a new tab in the budget for signature programs, and the district has asked us to change because it doesn't align with some of the other dates. So, all right, so we will have some action that we will have to take on some of those meetings as mentioned in the slide. So basically, this is reviewing the budget meeting schedule to ensure alignment with the district budget timeline. We have to review a budget to potentially adjust our current budget meeting schedule. This will ensure timely material. So again, this is the rescheduling. And so they suggested, and they decreased the funds of signature programs, which is our STEM, or other schools have IB. And so that's a new part of our budget. So we'll talk about that soon. So we'll need to take action to change our meeting calendar if we need to change our meetings, and we do, because our next meeting was scheduled for February 6th. And so they're saying that our meeting has to be sometime between February 10th and the 14th. So I am okay. I think. Nope. Wednesday won't be good for me because we don't get out of principals meeting in a timely fashion. We actually have another principals meeting. So I'm thinking the 13th, if that would work for me. February 13th in that week, that's a Thursday. That's my suggestion.
That's actually my baby's birthday, so I don't think that's gonna work for me.
Could do the 11th, but that's my faculty meeting, unless we do a Monday. We can do a Monday. No. Mondays are tight for me. Mondays and Tuesdays, of course, are tight for the staff.
I'm okay with a Monday or Tuesday.
I can probably make some exceptions for a Tuesday. So if that doesn't work, what about Tuesday the 11th?
Will this still be at 45?
Yes, and so what I can do, Ms. Lovett can, if we have an extension of faculty meeting, I can have Ms. Lovett take over, and if you come to Go Team, you'll be excused from faculty meeting.
Okay.
Not excuse from the whole faculty meeting, but at least enough time to,
Understood.
So
Yeah,
is that the 11th? Is that okay for everyone?
not like today, because we didn't have a meeting today.
Yes. I mean,
Would that work? Okay, I guess you can ask about, the motion for the 11.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to accept the meeting date change from February 6th to Tuesday, February 11th?
I move that we accept the change of moving the Go Team meeting from February 6th to February 11th.
3:45 p.m.
3:40, yes, at 3:45 p.m.
Do I have a second?
On that day, can we do it at 4? Is
At 4?
that possible? Or 3:45 is better? I'll be flexible. I'll make it work. No worries. Disregard. I'll make it work.
That's, whatever is best for everyone else. Either way works for me. But
Either way, for me too.
anybody else have a say or a preference before we continue with the motion, since it hadn't been seconded yet? Okay, Dr. Connor, could you say that again for me and add the time, 3:45?
Okay. I move that we accept the change of the Go Team meeting from February 6th to February 11 on Tuesday at 3:45 p.m.
May I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor? If you could please raise your hand or say aye to the
Aye.
camera.
Aye.
All opposed, raise your hand or say aye. Any abstention? Okay, great. The budget feedback meeting has been moved to February 11th at 3:45 p.m.
Awesome. All right. So we have a few norms. I'll just read them for the hearing of everybody else, just in case we've forgotten. This is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We will respect all ideas and assume good intention. All right, so the Go Team budget development process starts with our strategic plan, which is our roadmap. It's our direction for our priorities for our school. We'll review data, we'll review the strategic plan, what we had, and the parameters around that. And we will discuss, we are here at this step. We've done all of these things, but we'll kind of review some of them anyway. But we are here at the budget development process. What is it? During the first Go Team meeting, I'm providing an overview so everybody will know what happens, provide an overview of the budget and the position allocations, requests for turnaround and or signature program funds, and review changes to gifted service models. We are not changing our gifted service models and we do not have turnaround. So we will only be looking at the budget, position allocations, and requests for signature program. Why this meeting provides an opportunity for the principal and the Go Team to ensure alignment on the school's priorities and gain a deeper understanding of the positions of the budget and the allocations. and discuss the request for the signature program funds and to provide input to drive the development of the draft budget. And of course, today is the 30th, and we had to do it within those dates. So I'm not going, some of this is a little familiar, but my role is here, design a budget, formulate strategies, implement them at the school level, focus on the day-to-day operations, serve as the expert at the school, hire quality instructional and support personnel, and to collaborate with the GO team on the school level flexibility for position allocations, turnaround initiatives, and signature programs, which is a new process. We have so please bear with me as we go through this. There are some slides, parts of the budget that are new, that have never been on there. And signature program, the process for that is different as well. So I saw Ms. Jacoby on here, so if she wanted, feel free, Ms. Jacoby, please chime in if something is incorrect on my behalf. And the GO team's role is to focus on the big picture. We're talking about positions. We are not discussing people. And we'll ensure that the budget is aligned to the school's mission. And we will collaborate on the use of school level positions, allocations, and the signature programs, as I stated, which again is a new process. So this is what we had decided before. We talked about the goals, which were increasing our reading, and increasing our math, of course, to proficiency, and decreasing the numbers from the beginning level for both reading and math, and of course to add the attendance rate. I don't know. But we talked about making sure we increase proficiency in literacy, attendance, staff capacity, and increasing instruction and increasing in STEM. This is just a summary of what we have. Increased same thing I said, literacy and math proficiency. I need to add math. Increased staff capacity, numeracy. Oh, I did add math. I thought I didn't. Increase the daily average attendance and STEM integration across all content areas. The priorities were similarly the same. We just kind of redirected some of them. This is just another review of our goals, which I just stated. So basically, we still want to make sure we have small group instruction. However, it'll be small group, but we will more than likely have to increase class sizes. And once I give you the numbers for the budget, making sure we haven't moved that much, so we still have a need for the increased capacity in literacy and math. And we want, in order to, and many of you all know, and if you didn't know, we were on the turnaround list a year or so ago, and we got off of the list with the staff that I had. So, and I already mentioned this to my staff, we want to make sure that we don't flex out too much so that we can't get those same results, because that particular, when we added the particular things in, we had great results from that, and we were able to get off the state list. So I don't want to switch things up too much, but our budget may not allow it. So you'll see that shortly. And as always, we have to increase the capacity of our staff. And as I've told my staff, we have a greater need now because, we just need to do things differently because somebody's coming in. We have a greater need now because we have to move the needle. We have a new cluster superintendent, and, we have some expectations, and we owe it to our scholars to make sure that the staff is prepared. I've met with about 11 teachers, and we are making some changes in data and some changes in implementation of instruction to ensure that we're not continuing to do the same thing, so that we can get proficient results. And we're going to utilize the data to meet the needs of individual students, and monitor the communication of parents. I have a care team that consists of the social worker, the AP, the NTSS person, the nurse, just a group of people that make sure that we are monitoring our attendance as well, for state measures for CCRPI, and I'll talk about that as well. So the executive summary is that this budget represents an investment plan for our school students, employees, and community as a whole. The budget recommendations are tied directly to the strategic vision and direction. The proposed budget for the general operations of the school reflect at $6,538,845. That's for everybody. That's here. This investment plan accommodates a student population of 309 students, which is an increase of from last year, which is an increase of 24 students. But just to let you all know, we currently have, which is something that we always say, which is kind of interesting. We currently have 350, around roughly 350, give or take. Any day somebody withdraws or enrolls, so it goes between 348, some days up to 354. But I say around about 350, but for some reason, we're always projected lower, so the budget reflects that as well. So this is the allocation tab. This is a sample and I'll show you the actual one, but I want to explain to you what it is or what's on it. The allocation tab has 3 tables, as you can see, to show FY26, which you see in the first column, FY25, which is in the second column, which was last year. So this is projected. 26 is next year, 25 was this year, and the difference is in the last column. This helps you understand how the school earns funds and positions for FY26 in comparison to FY25 and how it impacts our overall budget. So this is just a sample. So you'll see a 26, a 25, and a change. So this is ours here. This is FY26 versus FY25. So this is this year's summary or allocation, and this is last year's, and these are our differences. So as we can see, we have a few more dollars based on the number of students we have. We have 309, but 285, and which is an increase of, like I said, of 24 students. However, as you will, as if you did not know, Atlanta Public Schools got an increase in raises, which we have to account for. The average teacher last year was roughly around 109, and now that's with benefits. And now it is around $127,000 per person to take care of the increase in salary and benefits. So that comes out. You get a SSF allocation per pupil. That's what you see here on the weight. And so that's what we earned this year versus last year. And the weights have changed a little bit from last year to this year. There is a specific formula. Ms. Jacoby, you could assist me with this if you like. I think she's still on here. No, I think she dropped off. But as you can see, if you look at the weights have changed. Finance does a roundabout weight situation based on enrollment. So right here, this is the number of students that are projected for this year. This is what last year. So last year we had 51 students in kindergarten versus what we're projected to have 49. Last year we have 49 second graders. We're dropping a whole more than 10 to 36. So that we have to account for those as well. This year they are weighted. Last year we didn't have a weight for 4th and 5th grade. And one thing I want to bring to your attention is the poverty went down. I'm sorry, the poverty increased here. Where it says concentration of poverty, I'm sorry. You see, last year we got $28,000 for that. We didn't get anything for that, but that's across the district because they were trying to level the budget. Just so you know, the district is at $100 million deficit. So all schools' budgets are affected. And so that's one of those things that they took away. If you read all here, I'm not going to read all of them, but you can see here the difference. I mean, saying the difference from FY25 to this year. And here we are on this side. This is the difference over here. Just a difference of $461. Now, finance has the formulas. Everybody just, we just get the budgets because they pull different things out and making sure it's the goal is to be equitable. But I'll explain it more if I can in the further slides. This is an addition to that slide that you saw. So as you see here, we are a STEM school, but we don't have any signature program funds right now. But Nobody does. Nobody has IB funds, turnaround funds, I believe, or signature programs. Or for STEM. That is because they've told us that we have to request the fund, which is why we had to change the date, because we had that date was due like tomorrow. And based on our rationales and all of the things that we have to submit, then they will drop that money in signature programs, because the district had a big push a couple of years ago for that. So they had that in a separate pot. So the next time, hopefully, we should come back and see money for signature programs, and I'll show you what the request is for that. As you can see, there's Title I monies here for family engagement. We see family engagement, it has decreased. The holdback money, they always pull back money a little bit from Title I. And just so you know, Title I is the federal piece. So I'm not sure, basically, you know, what's going on in the world right now, how much this will be affected at the moment, but the Title I is our federal money. We got the security grant. Everybody had the security grant. It's already in the budget. 1140,486. This district provides mandatory cultural experience field trips. That's what that money's for. It's already had to come out. And you have to have grade level chairs for each grade level, and that's this money here. And basically our FTE total allotments, which are well, all the things that you just saw, was 19.45. And that is the number there, and the total earnings are 2,257,569, which is also the total allocation that I showed you once you add up this slide plus the next slide. So I'm going to show you the summary tab of our budget. You'll see four things. I don't have any comments yet because I'm still making decisions. And so you won't see any comments because there are no comments yet, because I'm still finagling with the district office and all of the things. Earned, you'll see earned, funded, staff. This is different. This has not been on the budget before. What we earned will be in one column. So you'll see the teachers, or the positions rather, earned, what you are funded, and what you actually have. So I have to make sure that balances, and I'll show you a little bit more. The definitions are over here. Earned are positions allocated by the district. There is no school, I don't have any flexibility with some of them. Funded is the district recommended staffing for the positions, where there's school level flexibility. So I can choose to go up or down. What's staffed is what we currently have staffed now. And the difference just shows the difference between those two. And so I'm going to show you ours, okay? So here is Dobbs budget. This is all of our, this is just the first page. It's like 7 pages. Can you all see that? I tried to make it as big as possible. So let's say kindergarten teachers, we were funded for 3, but we were staffed for 3. So those remain the same. And this is all based on enrollment and things, what they feel. So let's look at 3rd grade. So 3rd grade, they're funding us for 2, but we currently have 3. So I have to move and shake some people around, or see, you know, what we have based on enrollment also. And we may have to increase class sizes just so I can make sure. We want to stay as close to the recommendation as possible. We don't have to. So we're going to do what fits best for Dobbs within the parameters of, you know, the money as well. So 5th grade also earned funded 2. Their suggested recommended funding is 2, but we currently have 3. 4th grade, we're funded for 3, but we are staffed at 2 because one of the teachers is in a turnaround pot. STEM lab teacher, as you can see, the specials teacher, this is new for me. Instead of 1 full teacher, they staffed us at 0.8, which means the specials teachers would be here 4 days a week and at another school for 1 day. I'm trying to see if I can flex up, because that affects our schedule, that affects teachers' planning times, all of that. So I'm working to see, 1, where would they go for the 0.20, and or if the district can help me. I'm saying if they're going to help me find that place, or if I'll be able to fund. But because we're already in a deficit, I would have to have the 0.20 times those 4. So it's what, 80, another 8. That's a lot. That's other people's, that's part of the salary that I would have to take out, if that makes any sense. So I don't even have 20% of their salary in my budget. Am I making sense? Councilwoman? I can't see anybody because most people. And then we only have, we have 0.5 for gifted, which is what we have, because I have a teacher split for gifted and, EIP currently, but that's what we are now. Let me go to the next page. EIP, we have a EIP teacher in a classroom, but we are funded, so funded for 5.5, but we're staffed at 4.5. So I have room to move around for that. ESOL, 0.70. Now where you see the gray areas, some of these are district funding, but you can just look and see what's what. Which would not necessarily affect us as much. These are our paraprofessionals. And right here you see non-instructional aid. This may change. Just try to lessen some things and play around with some things, but right now, this is what we have. We're funded for 3 kindergartners. It is not mandatory that they have a parent in every room, so we may have to have a parent support and have a schedule to support all 3. That may be possible. And our business manager got promoted to assistant principal, so I did not fill that position, so that money went back into the pot, but we're still in the deficit. So that money went in there, but we are funded at, you'll see secretary here, bookkeeper here, and we have 1, so I have to, just move around some things to see what's what. We don't have a school clerk, but they're saying we are funded for one, which is interesting, but we have the counselor here and readers or leaders coach, which is typically district funded. So
Ms. Reagan, what's a school clerk and like what is that job?
somebody that answers the phone, it's like it's more equivalent to a para.
Got it. Okay.
Which brings me, well, I'll wait till that's gonna be. Media specialist here, we have our nurse here, so it tells you what's what. And as you can see, like we're not even funded for the parent liaison, but we are staff one, so I have to make, just different decisions and see what we're gonna do about that. But everything is flexible that's in yellow. It's all flexible. So I can flex up or down. And just so you know, there are a lot of positions that's not a part of this slide, but there are a lot of positions that are a part of the standards operating of a school that you have to have, such as a principal, such as a counselor, things of that nature that can't be flexed up or down, because we do also have to have standards of service. Like with our specials, we have to have 45 minutes of specials, but you don't have to have them every day. But I just want to kind of put that out there. There's nothing much on this page. I'll let you, this is a social worker and FST. And we have our turnaround coaches here. That's when they were in that pot. We don't have that pot anymore, so we have to figure out that part. And again, the grade these are district funded here. And we earned a resource officer, which is APS is funding a resource officer for all schools, so that will be something I will have to hire for. So the non-staffing tab basically is all the recommendations or what to spend on anything outside of the staff. It shows how much money has been allocated on the line. And then you will see the difference. Again, there are no comments because still working on those things. So the reserve is what the district, every school has a reserve, a holdback. Once we level, then we could possibly get that money back. That's after the 10-day count. When we do the 10-day count to see how many people or students we have, they will put that back in the pot. Last year, there were some budget deficits and they actually sliced our reserve, so we did not get all of that, just FYI. This is the district, right here. This is the district funded field trips that I was talking about, the CEP trips. This was the 15,000 is the suggested teaching materials and supplies. And all of these on here, oh, I'm sorry. All of these on here are suggestions. I've done nothing with, I've been trying to deal with personnel. So whatever is left, hopefully we'll have enough for some pencils and some paper. We got to, then I'll, put that in there because I want to make sure that our children are being served and they have quality instruction. This is our second non-staffing page. These are the stipends for grade level chairs. We have money that comes out of sub funds. So this is why I have to focus on attendance because we have to make sure that we have money. Otherwise, sub money comes from somewhere else. So the new signature and turnaround. So you can take turnaround out of your head because that does not apply to us. This is my superintendent. Let me tell you in the go team. Okay, I caught it. All right, so we're only signature program. So overview. The district is piloting a zero-based budgeting process for signature program this year. Like I showed you all, there was nothing there. Zero-based budgeting is a budgeting process that allocates funding based on program efficiency and necessity rather than budget history. As opposed to traditional budgeting, no item is automatically included in the budget, which is what I showed you all. As such, the initial allocations at all these schools will be a zero. The process is that the principals will develop proposed requests for the personnel and non-personnel that they need to support the signature program. We will share and discuss that proposals with you all in the Go team, and after doing that, we'll submit our request for review by January, and funding will be provided next week. I think it's actually on the 7th, but the week of February 7th. All right, so this is just an example of our program signature program request. So, I'm going to show you all the rationales in a second. So this is our signature program coach. In my mind, before we got the budget, because there are so many things that go on with signature programs, I actually wanted to make it because the rest of the coaches are 211 days, which means they stay come 5 days before the teachers and 5 days after. But there's no enough money to do that. So I had to try to at least keep it at 202, the 202 days that is. And again, these are not salaries. These are just this average salaries of the district and with benefits. STEM lab teacher, and I'll show the proposals in a minute, the rationale, fees and supplies. So our signature program fund request, the STEM coach, vital to our academic success. They drive the STEM efforts, the STEM certification efforts. We were certified, I want to say, was it 2019? No, it was a pandemic, so that was 2021.
It was like the Cognia certification.
We did it over this pandemic, right? That was a pandemic. That was
Yeah, but I think it got approved.
21.
Yeah, 21 or 22.
Or 22, yes. Because the first year I had somebody else and it was so it's 21, 22. So anyway, that's part of that because they wanted all the schools to be Cognia certified, and we're grandfathered into that even though they have a different name. They drive our STEM certification efforts, prepare our students for STEM careers through technology, fairs, robotics, esports, and STEM challenges. And STEM helps to integrate writing across the content areas. They support with small groups and ensuring that the fifth grade science GMAS testing area is at mastery. And it has helped impact our CCRPI performance because we also not only get tested in reading, but we get reading and math, but we also get tested in science for fifth grade as well. And so their work embeds the STEM principles school-wide, ensuring that that they work with everyone. And we received 100 in the Closing the Gap score. That was the science scores were a part of that. And this work embeds this again the STEM principles school-wide to make sure they have hands-on learning. And now you all know many of our jobs are the jobs in today's society are STEM-based. And so we don't want to take that away because a lot of the STEM things are taking the actual humans away, that are operating some of these things. So we want to make sure that we are sustaining our scholars so they'll be productive citizens. And so to help drive that work will be our STEM teacher, which will have some of the same things and just implementing and making sure they help. Is also be in a specials rotation because we also need that time when they're in specials to make sure that the teachers have enough time to plan. So that's that flip-flop and that scheduling piece. Cotnia costs $1,200 each year. That's when we got certified. So we have to pay a fee each year, like a organization to be a part of. You have to pay the dues each year. That's $1,200. And in order to do the PBL projects that we have to do, and now they're asking that we are not just STEM, but actually that we add the A for art and STEAM. But in order to do that, we have to have some other things. And teachers always, we do our STEM showcases, and we need resources for that so that they can have their product. And so there we're trying to allocate $52,000 there. Now, these are just requests. We don't know what we're going to get, but you have not because you asked. But if they give us this money, it would also help take that part out of our normal budget so I have money for something else. Does that make sense? Okay. So we want to give them that so I can take those two people out of my regular budget and use the money that they're going to give me for that. So I'm trying to get other money out to free up for other people in the general budget. So a total of $20,000. We want a keyboard program for music to integrate the arts and technology. We have some people that been asking. We wanted to make sure we had some different things for the scholars to be exposed to. While $10,000 will be purchasing robotics, Lego robotics, Spiros, and we have been winning several technology fairs, and they have doing a great job when they've done robotics. So we want things for that, and interactive activities online to help with the PBL units like the STEM scopes, to help support the STEM curriculum. And as I stated, for the supplies, $7,000 for that, and $5,000. We always have a STEM celebration, a big day activity. We wanted to still do that because that seems to bring STEM to life. When we have the animals, we have the Georgia Tech here from Seismic. And so we want to make sure we continue that as well. So in February, again, we just made our meeting for the 11th. We would then, it says action on the draft budget. We will vote on the draft budget before the 14th. And the cluster superintendent will review it. She's doing a preliminary review tomorrow, but then she'll review it on between the 17th and the 21st. And then HR will have staffing conferences. That means whoever I need to abolish and add or whatever. Can't add anybody right now. I'm trying to, figure that part out. And then March, we will have our final approval meeting. I can't remember the date we have, but I don't know if Brianna has it. But we'll do that. We'll have our final voting vote on that day. I don't have it in front of me. When you pull it up, just do you have any questions before I just run over the data really quickly?
March 6th.
March 6th. So we have February 11th and March 6th, right? And that's when the final one will be. So before I go to the data, I'm just going to do a quick overview of the data before the announcement. Any questions?
I have one question, Ms. Reagan. On the last slide, I heard you say allocating funds for 2 positions, I think, but I missed what it was. When you were talking about like the PBL, STEM, and something.
It was just, no, it was just,
Like putting the money back in the pot, but I kind of missed the.
and a teacher, that was it. And then resources,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
3 things.
I saw it then. I thought I missed it.
Okay. Any more questions? All right, here's the data. I've actually shared some of this with the staff, but for those people who haven't seen it. Just so you know, this is just a historical thing. I just think it helps paint a better picture of where we've come or how far we've come on our CCRPI, which are our state scores, to now. And so the state grades us with content mastery, closing the gaps, progress, and readiness. And so pre-pandemic, this was 2018. This is before Miss Reagan, before I was the principal, and this was our scores, which are 30. This is out of a scale of 100, and this is where we were. And so just so you know, closing the gaps is basically, I'm gonna give you the short and dirty. Our students learning what they're supposed to learn, period. It measures if they learn their subject area to proficiency. This is where we were. I apologize. 2019, my first year.
Ms. Reagan,
I apologize.
can you take it back full screen?
Oh, thank you, babe. From current slide. That better? Sorry. So this is the year we went into the pandemic, 2019, 2020. This is after the pandemic, and we know what happened. And everybody went down, and that's not just Dobbs, that's everyone. But once we started to get back in our mode, and that's when we were identified as a turnaround school, we actually gained, so we came off the list. And this was last year, so we have grown since the pandemic, but we're trying to make sure we continue to increase that. So closing the gaps is, are we helping struggling students catch up to their peers? Are we closing the academic gap? And I'll let you look at that. Again, pre-pandemic are the 2 numbers here. This was pre-me, this was before me. This is my very first year, so that was data that I gained. They didn't, the state did not measure closing the gaps after the pandemic, but once we were a turnaround school, we ended up getting a 90, which is really, really good. And then last year we actually got 100, and we got recognized by the board recently for making the 100% in closing the gap. And I just have to credit my staff because of course I could not do that alone. So I'm really excited about that. And progress here basically says our students improving over time, even if they are not there. That's what that means. So if they're making improvements, and it's the same thing here, the state did not have it there. After the CSI, we got to a 97.2. So this is one of the things we have to work on as well, which is a 72.1. And I don't know why my score is not on there, but I'll tell you, that's just like 1 point higher. Step is a 67 right here. It's not very much higher than that. So progress, did I say that? Yeah, our students improving. So readiness is our students on track for future success, not just right now. Readiness includes attendance beyond the core, which are our specials, our band, music, art, all those areas, and beyond reading proficiency. So as you can see, the trend, we went up. My first year after the pandemic went down. And then all of these green areas was part of us getting off the list. And I apologize for the NA there, I'll update that, but we did go up 1 point. We only went down in progress. And so that's something we're seriously working on now at this time. So we had 3 greens, 1 red. And this is state data, state information. So I know last time we wanted, we wanted to see some comparisons between the other schools. So after we took the fall map in August, and we took the winter map in December. And so as you can see, so just so you know, everybody increased in the red, which is where everybody goes back up, but that's typically the pattern. For some reason, every school year everybody, not just us, every school goes up in the fall, and then in the spring map, when we take it again in March, it goes back down. I don't know if that has to do with learning curves or whatever, but that is typically, as you can see, each school. So here we are, I put a star where we are. In the fall, we had 45%. This is, I want to say, this was math. And my apologies, I didn't put on here reading, but I'll make sure I fix that. But this is math. We had 45% and it increased. And then that's the beginning, and developing decreased. And then our proficiency, we have like a 1% here. Our proficiency is still the same. So what we have to do is, as always, decrease the red. So this is us in comparison to everybody else in math. And I will make sure I email that to everybody, the other one for reading, because I did not put that slide on here. But I think that was just in the haste of the day. But I will send that to you, but it's pretty much the same. But I'll make sure I send that as well. And this is district information. So as you can see, the district actually increased in red as well, and they're still standing around the same proficient, but we want to make sure we're making the red less and the green more. So some of the things that we are doing to shift is giving targeted support for teachers, making sure we're writing across all areas. We're having GMAS warm-ups, intentional. The coaches are providing those and making a special emphasis on engagement and having small groups. And we will, at some point, we have not started our isolated time yet for Drop Everything and Read and Mastering Arithmetic through our hustle. But we are trying to move with a sense of urgency so that we can make sure that when we do get our CCRPI scores, that they are all green and we don't have any reds. We do have to do that, get that progress area up also. Do you all have any questions about the data? And I said, second, where's Ms. Antunes? Make sure, or Ms. Spence, can you work with her to make sure when we send the information, I can send the email for the ELA data.
The ELA date, I missed something.
The data, because I didn't put that slide on there.
ELA data, got it.
I'll send it to, or to Ms. Antunes so we can get it on. So this is just an announcement that we are declaring, and help me if I'm wrong, Ms. Spence, candidacy now for next year. So if you know someone who wants to be on the GO team, there is the link. And if you know, you can reach out to Ms. Spence or email her and we can get them the link this week. Or you can take a picture of the QR code and send it to me. I'll leave it up there for 5 more seconds. All righty. I'm gonna move on. I do not have a quote. I know we have fencing updates on there. I know we were talking about using our current security funds for the fencing. I do know we got one quote. We talked about the football field on, okay. The fencing around the field for field day. So we got a quote for that. We only get a $45,000 security grant. Blinds were already purchased because blinds were torn up. So when we do a lockdown, people have to close their blinds, close their doors. So we made sure we replaced all the blinds. So that was roughly about $5,000. So we had about $40,000 left. The quote for the entire field over on the left side of the school, closest towards the cemetery, was $75,000. So the district came out, facilities came out, and they said, well, how about let's do half of the field? And so now I'm working with them to do a quote, and there's actually a fence all out there already, and they want to just kind of keep that same fence. I can't remember, I think it's like a wrought iron fence, like a friendly type of fence or whatever. But we're gonna do half the field, but I'm just waiting on the quote because we want to make sure we are staying within our numbers. We can't do a $75,000 fence. So once I get that update, I will let you all know on that. I'm going on to announcements if that's okay, Ms. Spence. We had our district science fair, and we do have some that went to the district fair as well. The school fair and the district fair. Curriculum night.
My baby went to the district fair.
Okay,
My baby went to the district fair.
how did he do?
He said he did okay, so we'll see what the judges say.
And we had about what, 10 kids though? About 10 kids? I
Um,
can't remember the exact number.
around that much.
Yes.
4 different projects.
Yes. So we are always excited because our students typically further in the science fair, the technology fair, and I'm missing one. Maybe I'm not. Definitely the science fair and the technology fair. We have had a map blow party as one of our student celebrations, and we've celebrated those scholars that actually made increases in their map scores. So although some of the scores are not where we want them to be, we do want to celebrate small progress and small gains, and they enjoyed that. And I'm actually doing one for the actual highest one soon. They're having a principal luncheon with me for those scholars that were the highest in their class that met the highest grit score on their map. So we did that. We are working on an attendance celebration that's coming up to stay in line with our strategic priorities. And there is a cluster Title I input meeting on February 27th for the South Atlanta cluster. And I believe that's about it. Do y'all have any questions? Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to turn it back over to our chair lady.
Thank you so much, Ms. Reagan. We have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? I think you were looking for esports, Ms. Reagan.
Oh,
When you,
well, in esports. Thank you. I forgot about it.
mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if there's no additional business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move
I
to
do-
adjourn the meeting. Or I second.
Somebody said clarify the time.
We did that.
Oh, I'm late, sorry. I apologize.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor of ending the meeting, adjourning the meeting, raise your hand and say aye.
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 All opposed? No, any abstentions? Okie dokie, the meeting is adjourned today at 4:53 p.m. Thank you all.
You.
Thank you. Have a good